So the last transformation that we're going to learn about is a rotation. So these are rotation notes. A rotation is a transformation that turns a figure around a point. Okay? That point is called the center of rotation. So the point that it's turning around is called the center of rotation. You got to remember that a circle is a set of all points that are the same distance from a point called the center. All right? So this is where center of rotation comes from. So when you rotate a point around a center of rotation, it remains the same distance from the center of rotation, just like a circle. Okay? So a rotation is when all points in the pre-image are moved along circular arcs determined by the center of rotation and the angle of rotation. Okay? So when you're asked to rotate a figure, you must know each of the following. You need to know, let me pull that up for you. You need to know each of the following. You need to know the angle of rotation, you need to know the center of rotation, and you need to know the direction of rotation. Okay? If it doesn't give you one, the default is counterclockwise. Okay, counterclockwise means I start here and I move this way. Okay, so when you're rotating about counterclockwise around the origin, all right, there's 4 that you'll be asked a lot about. First is a 90-degree angle of rotation. So if you just moved it 90 degrees, then you have a 180-degree rotation, a 270-degree rotation, and a 360-degree rotation. Okay? If it was given it to you in the opposite direction, so the angle in the opposite direction, 90 degrees is the exact same thing as negative 270 degrees. Okay? 180 degrees is the exact same thing as negative 180 degrees. 270 degrees is the exact same thing as negative 90 degrees. And 360 degrees is the same thing as negative 360 degrees or 0 degrees. Okay? Exact same thing. So here's what the rotation looks like. From here, it goes 90 degrees to right here. Okay, 180 degrees goes from right here all the way across the line to right over here. Okay, 270 degrees curves around to right on this line. And 360 degrees goes all the way back to where it started. Okay? All the way back to where it started. So now what do we do to these coordinates? So if I started with x, y, all right, when I started with x, y, we need to not only switch them, so it becomes yx, but we're going to change the value of y to negative. So you're going to flip them and change y's sign. So you're going to switch the x and the y and change y's sign. When you're rotating 180 degrees, they stay put, So x and y stay in the same place. They just both become negative. So you're going to change both signs. Okay? For the next one, when we're going 270 degrees, we are going to flip the x and the y. Instead of changing y's sign, we're going to change x's sign. So x changes sign. And they flip. Okay, x changes sign and they flip. If you go a full 360 degrees, nothing changes. They just stay x and y. So what it looks like is it looks like a rotation of 90 degrees. If I started with the point -1, -2, for example, that equals, switch them and change the sign to -1. So the negative comes with it, okay? The negative comes with it as it moves over here. The 2 comes here, but also changes sign. So a rotation of 180 degrees that started at -1, -2, that just means I changed the sign of both of them. So instead of -1, -2, it becomes +1, +2. A rotation of 270 degrees that started at -1, -2 becomes, switch them, but this guy keeps his sign this time, so -2, +1. And last but not least, a rotation of 360 degrees that started at -1, -2, that just stays -1, -2. We'll do the examples in back in class.